Ladies and gentlemen, we have a titanic battle of the Berettas coming up. Woo! The A300 Ultima Patrol versus the Beretta 1301 Tactical. Which one is the best shotgun? Now, both of these shotguns are really awesome. We've tested them out and had a lot of rounds through both, and we found some great performance characteristics. However, which one is going to be the better buy? Which one is the better gun? We're going to try to answer those questions today. We're starting off with a couple of categories that we want to use to try to eke out which one is going to come out on top. First off, we're going to do reliability and durability. Then we're going to jump into ergonomics. We'll cover accuracy. And then we'll delve into performance, like how does a gun run? And then finally, we'll talk about the values so that you can make an informed decision about which one you want to pick up. Or if you're a baller, get them both. Reliability and durability. Now, what do I mean by that? Reliability is going to refer to how do they perform as far as reliably feeding, firing, and ejecting all the shells that you could want to run. I'm going to give the edge to the 1301 because it has the blink gas system. Now, these are both gas-operated semi-automatic shotguns. A300 Ultima Patrol is going to do a great job with just about everything that you could possibly run through it. You might run into some problems with some lighter bird shot, but again, this is more of a defensive-minded shotgun. The blink operating system has been around for a while, and it's been extremely reliable over the years that it's been around. So definitely going to have the leg up there. And then as far as durability, like how long are these shotguns both going to last? What are they going to have that gives them an edge one over the other? And it's definitely, again, going to go to the 1301. Most people are not going to shoot either of these shotguns in anywhere near their full potential before you have to replace anything. But the 1301 has a chrome lined bolt and a chrome lined barrel. So it's meant for longer service periods and maybe just a little bit more abuse. So for this category, 1301 Tactical is going to take it. All right, next category is going to be ergonomics. I want to start out by saying that these guns are not exactly stock. One of the things that we did from the beginning was mount Scalar Works mount on both guns and then put in our optics. Now, the cool thing about these is they're very, very low to the top of the receiver, and that allows absolute co-witness with your stock mounted iron sights that are on both guns. Again, this one has the Trijicon RMR mounted up, and then we have the Steiner MPS on this one. On the 1301 Tactical, we have a +2 for the magazine tube. That's from GGG. But other than that, both guns are stock. What I appreciate about them is that they are very similar in many respects. The stock is essentially the same. Now, we have some different internal components in both of these guns that'll affect performance, but as far as the stock, it's basically the same. The branding is the same, and the checkering, which is a really strong texture I appreciate, is essentially the same on both. Trigger appears to be largely the same. The safety is a little bit different on the 1301 Tactical. You've got kind of a triangular, perhaps a little bit bigger package there. Now, jumping back to the 1301, interesting charging handle, perhaps more of a horn announcing, "Load Beretta." And you don't have that on the A300 Patrol. It's a little more sedate, but basically the same ribbed kind of style. Moving forward, we have the same bolt release on both sides. Finally, to the fore end, they're almost exactly the same, except for the A300 Ultima Patrol has M-LOK slots up here. We've got them 3, 6, and 9. Barrel clamp up at the front has another M-LOK option, and QD on both sides too. As far as the ergonomics, the last thing that I'll talk about that's perhaps a little bit better is definitely going to be the area where we load. If you take a look at the 1301, it's pretty minimal as far as what you've got in the way of shaping. There's a little bit of a beveled edge here, but not much up here. And you can still, if you're not careful, get your thumb pinched in there while you're loading. But with the A300 Ultima Patrol, really beveled up on this front end for when you're sliding those shells in. As far as the ergonomics go as a category, I'm definitely going to give it a slight advantage to the A300 Ultima Patrol. All right, folks, our next portion is going to be accuracy. We want to see if we can tell from two different shotguns that are essentially the same size, what kind of accuracy you can expect, and is one any more accurate than the other. Today we'll be using Federal Premium's flight control, and this is the 9-pellet version, but we're going to be patterning from 5, 10, 15, and 25 yards. And we'll just use a blank piece of cardboard to see what you can expect. And then we'll use some slugs for some accuracy testing to see if any one of them actually pulls ahead. Okay, so the 1301 Tactical, and we're starting out at 5 yards. This is a devastating shot. So super tight pattern like you might expect, but you also get some wadding in there too. Okay, back to the 10. So the wadding is gone, but you can see we're already spreading out from the previous shot. All right, 15. Even more spread. And finally, 25. So you can see pretty good spread now, based upon where we started here at the 5 and then to the 25, we're looking, you know, still pretty good chest size shot. So decent pattern, and you know what to expect. All right, folks, continuing the accuracy portion, now we've got the A300 Ultima Patrol, same flight control, and we're starting off at 5 yards. Very tight group. So like wadding and everything in the same hole. That's pretty impressive. Spreading out just a little bit. Got a few outside, and still pretty tight group at 10 yards. Okay, 15 yards for the A300 Ultima Patrol. What a difference 5 yards makes. Look at this spread. Really nice even group. The wadding may have come down here, but pretty good. That's like almost palm size for me. That's several inches. It's starting to spread out. 25 yards. Okay, wow. So lower this time, and quite a bit of spread. Look at that. From here to here. You know, that's essentially the same as the 1301 Tactical. Really tight in the beginning. I would say that the A300 with this particular ammo was tighter in the first couple shots up closer in distance, but as we spread out, it seems like the 1301 was a little more compact on the grouping from the 25, whereas this is spread out quite a bit more than kind of the chest size print that we had from the 1301. So again, that's pretty close to a draw, at least as far as the patterning on accuracy. All right, continuing the accuracy portion, we're going to be at 20 yards here on a bench using rifled slugs, just to see with a group of 5 what kind of accuracy I can expect from both guns, and then we'll compare those. All right, let's see how that went. All right, so the 1301 Tactical doing very good. 20 yards, got 4 shots right in here, and I threw one. That's completely my fault. All right, so again, I'm consistent with flyers. 2 up here, and then 2 down here. This is around 3 inches, whereas the 1301 Tactical was had 4 together at about 2.5 inches. So slight advantage to the 1301 as far as slugs go at 20 yards. This one's a little bit tougher to call. The A300 Ultima Patrol was a little bit better up close as far as keeping those patterns tight. But then when we got to the 1301, the pattern seemed a little bit tighter once we pushed back to 25 yards. Slugs, kind of similar. 1301 had a 2.5 inch group, but the A300 Patrol ended up with a 3-inch group, omitting flyers on both ones. So that's a little too close for me to call. I'm going to call this category draw because the biggest variable involved between these two is definitely me, the shooter. We're moving on to the performance section. Now, we definitely wanted to test a couple of different metrics that we feel are important to shooters and whether you're evaluating a shotgun you want to buy for your defensive purposes. And one of those is speed. I suspect that I probably don't have the capacity to fully test the outer limits of the speed capable of both of these shotguns, but I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to fire 7 rounds using a shot timer and go as fast as I possibly can, and then we will measure up the results between both shotguns. Again, it's going to be limited to the performance of the shotguns, but more probably limited to my level of performance. .14. Average split is 0.14. 6, 7. All right. Okay. Grand total is 1.18. with average splits around 0.15. That's pretty fast for the old 1301 tactical. I'm going to call that a draw. That's pretty darn close, and I suspect that, again, this is going to be the shooter. I can't probably delve into the upper limits that both of these guns are capable of. All right, so also part of our performance evaluation, we're going to shoot 4 rounds of buckshot out of both guns and see really if I can tell how much softer shooting either gun is. Again, I'm not sure that I'll be able to tell, but with 4 rapid shots of buckshot, maybe I'll have a better understanding at the end of this test. That's really tough. If I had to absolutely pick, it would probably be the 1301. It just feels a little slight bit softer, whereas the A300 is a little more raucous. Yeah, that's so close. It's really tough to tell. Now, there are 2 subcategories here that we tried to delve into. First off is speed, and I believe that the A300, I shot 7 rounds in 1.14 seconds. The 1301 Tactical, it was 1.18. Now, I know that definitively that is slightly faster in favor of the A300 Patrol, but again, I think that that's too subjective. It's too close together to call it. So the next performance characteristic that I would look at is the recoil impulse. Now, both guns kick fairly hard when you're hitting the double-aught buck, and especially with slugs, but I do feel like there's a slight advantage, not necessarily just from the blink gas system, but the 1301 Tactical also has longer narrowing or forcing cones, so it does a little bit better with recoil. So for this category of performance, it's going to go to the 1301 Tactical. Final category is going to be value. Now, the lowest price that I'm seeing as we filmed this for the 1301 Tactical is going to be $13.75. Now that's pretty steep, particularly for a defensive shotgun, but it is a semi-automatic and it has a pretty legendary history behind it. The A300 Ultima Patrol, on the other hand, is only $800. It's the best price that I was able to find for it online. That's a difference of $575. Now, if we want to talk about all the other categories together, they kind of come up pretty even as far as I was able to test them. But if value is really where it's at and you don't have the budget to drop $1,375 or even more on a 1301 Tactical, then the A300 Ultima Patrol is definitely going to do just about everything as well as the 1301 Tactical. It comes down to price point, then I think the A300 Ultima Patrol is for you. However, if you really want the Bombay, the hotness, the really good shotgun, the 1301 Tactical is definitely going to be better, just based upon longevity, equal performance, if not better, better recoil, and the ability to have about the same capacity as well. All right, so that does it. Final wrap up. If you're on a budget, the A300 Ultima Patrol is definitely the way to go. And if you're not so concerned about counting your pennies, then man, the 1301 Tactical is the top dog, without a doubt. That's gonna do it for us. We appreciate it. But before you go, please remember, I wrote an entire article with even more details over at pewpewtactical.com. You can find the link in the description below. Go click it.